And hi, I'm Doug Keck. This is an EWTN Bookmark Brief. Just had the pleasure of speaking with Mike Aquilina, author of Friendship and the Fathers, How the Early Church Evangelized, a book available through our EWTN Religious Catalog. Will tell us Friendship and the Fathers, How the Early Church Evangelized. What is this book about, and why did you decide to write it?
Well, it's about friendship as the primary means of evangelization in the early church. It was the primary means. It was almost the only means available to the early Christians to spread the faith, because we didn't have access to what counted for media at the time. We didn't have access to the public square. Christianity was a capital crime. You could die for practicing the Catholic faith. So how did the word get out? How did the gospel spread, as we know it did, at a rate of 40% per decade? Through friendship, largely through friendship.
What did you think of the timing of putting a book like this together, considering the world we live in today, where so many things are virtual? People are sitting in their basements. We're in a post-COVID or mid-COVID environment, maybe long-term.
I thank God for His providence, because I planned this book and I did much of the writing in the year before COVID. So the book was already going into print at the time COVID was happening. It was a slow release as a result, because everything slowed down. But yes, I think it's very much relevant to our circumstances right now, because we're looking at an epidemic of loneliness that has only been exacerbated by the pandemic.
Well, it's great to read a book like this and realize these great saints were such great friends and they all got along so well, or did they?
No,
Okay.
no, we have a lot to learn from them, because they show us how friendship is done, even when it's difficult, even when there are all kinds of obstacles to friendship, even when friends are unequal in status, or even when friends have very different temperaments and fall into quarreling. You know, we find good examples of how to conduct a friendship in spite of all those circumstances, and to flourish in it.
Do you see a balance in them in a sense of it's not just preaching and it's not just example, it's a combination of those two, right?
It's a combination of those two. It's ordinary work conversations. One of my favorite chapters is about three lawyers and a road trip they took together, and the conversations that they had during that time. So yes, it's a balance. It's a balance, right. But it always involves speaking up.
Right.
You know, that's a good point you bring up there. Eventually, you have to say something,
right.
and you have to introduce them to Jesus
It's not
Christ.
always a day at the beach, as I recall. You have it in the book. Thanks, Mike Aquilina. Friendship and the Fathers, How the Early Church Evangelized, available through the EWTN Religious Catalog, EWTNRC.com, for all things Catholic. Look for the entire interview on our on-demand platform and coming soon on the network. I'm Doug Keck. This is in a Bookmark Brief. We hope we'll see you next time. Thanks.